Our resident commentator on the passing scene is award-winning author Harlan Ellison. When we call him award-winning, that's an understatement. Harlan has won more awards for his 62 books, more than 1,700 stories, articles, essays, and columns than any other living fantasist. His current books are Minefields, Mephisto and Onyx, and I, Robot Screenplay, based on concepts by Isaac Asimov.
You know, I go where the action is when we do these commentaries, and it keeps going back to the internet. It keeps going back to these computer bulletin boards. Keep getting the flame wars of things that I'm alleged to have said. A couple of weeks ago, it wasn't all that well edited. It was one of the few that Dick Crew didn't edit well, but he does very, very well. But this one, the one I was talking about, conventions, instead of it being a lament for small conventions and meeting people like Edward E. Smith, Doc Smith, and Hugo Gernsback and things like that, and saying the big conventions are now too big and they mostly serve publishers. It turned out that people all of a sudden on the internet were screaming that I was saying that one of the conventions, the WesterCon, had made so much money that they were able to give money to other people, and on and on. It was the usual blabber and babble that you hear on the internet. And so they didn't really get the message of what I had been saying, but it went all over the internet. And then there was another one. The internet got crazy and decided that the great author William Kotzwinkle had not gone to the World Fantasy Convention in New Orleans because I had told him that if I wasn't made the Toastmaster, that I would stop him from going. Well, that's just too loony even to talk about. But I decided that I was going to do a little something about the computer nets this time, and I was going to use not just my comments, but the comments of one of the net gurus, Bruce Sterling. Now, Bruce Sterling is the author of The Hacker Crackdown, among other books, Islands in the Net, Global Head, Schismatrix. I published Involution Ocean. His new book is called Heavy Weather, and he is really a heavy-duty internet guy. And what he says about the nets in his column Cat Scan, which is from a magazine called Science Fiction Eye, is very, very interesting. Electronic text lacks the ritual, sensual elements of print publication: back covers, front covers, typography, italics, convenient stopping places, an impending sense of completion, what one might call the body language of the printed text. The loss of these sensory clues has subtle but profound effects on one's dealing with the text. What he's saying here is that the bulletin board, on which many of you spend most of your nights, is not really the equivalent of a book, that you're not going to get the same sensory load. He also says the letter columns everywhere, the reader-written e-zines, tend to attract monomaniacs with an axe to grind. We have all these people who stand on there and diss each other endlessly. This is one of your own. This is one of your gurus. It's not me babbling at you. This is one of your own high gurus talking. And he says, I've gotten quite a lot of email that by all rights should have been written in crayon by a person whom a kindly society had deprived of sharp objects. It can often take several exchanges of email to bring forth a realization that would have taken perhaps 7 seconds of contact in real life. This person is unhinged. These are all problems that one gets with the computer bulletin boards. I think you should talk among yourselves. And in fact, when he talks about science fiction, he says the net is not really concerned about talking about science fiction. What he says is the net is interested only in the net. Net spiders are, in that sense, much like the ham radio people who bounce signals off the ionosphere all the way to Madagascar so as to ask, well, what kind of ham shack you got? What kind of bulletin board you got? I rest my case. It's not me. Yeah, forget it, Jarek. I have no opinions this week. See this, when you voice opinions, guys like Jarek get all upset. He's got a million opinions. Well, this time, I have nothing to say. Absolutely nothing to say. We could just end it right now. I mean, I suppose I could talk about the new publication of the first Philip K. Dick book, you know, his unpublished first novel, Gather Yourselves Together, published by WCS Books. They could run a super with the address of WCS Books and say that it costs $40, and it's his very first novel from 1952. But no, I'm not going to talk about that. Or I could talk about this. This is a thing called the Voice It. Voice It. This is a wonderful little thing. You know what Voice It is? Voice It is like a portable Post-it. It's this little itty-bitty thing, and when I have a question, like, look, what? I press this and I say, tell Jarek to go and, you know, take a flying leap. And then you press it off, and then you play it. Tell Jarek to go and, you know, take a flying leap. See, This is a wonderful thing. It's made by the Voice It company. I urge people to get these. This is a great thing for any businessman or anybody who's got ideas. Writers who get story ideas and they don't know what to do with them. You got a million Post-its. You use these. You got 70 seconds. Bam, little short things. It's it's a great gadget. Also proving I'm not a Luddite. Or I could point out that Omni is making a laughingstock of itself with all of these stupid UFO things. UFOs, every damn issue. UFO conspiracy, UFOs, the real UFOs, exclusive UFO cover-ups. Nobody cares. The only people who believe in UFOs are the same people who, they're the kind of people who don't ask the important questions of life. Questions like, why is Selsun blue green? What is it that Sharon Stone has up her skirt that at least 50% of the population of the planet also has that deludes us into believing this woman is an actress? From what university and in what rigor did Dr. Dre get his diploma? Does it not bother you that at least half the X-Men are women? Why are they called skinheads when clearly they are boneheads? Separated at birth, Garth Brooks and Mr. Potato Head. These are the important questions, and I could talk about them if I had an opinion, but I have no opinions, none at all. So bite this, Jarek. You know, I'm getting so sick and tired of getting in trouble with you people. Every time I tell you something, you just, you know, yeah, he's bad-mouthing the internet, he's bad-mouthing the movies, bad-mouthing Star Trek. Good God. For instance, a movie can't be a movie anymore. You used to go to a movie. You used to go to On the Waterfront, you go to the Magnificent Seven, you know, All About Eve, even Star Wars. You went to a movie, you saw a movie. Now it can't be a movie. It's got to be a ride. It's got to be a book, it's got to be a game, it's got to, you know, if you like the movie, you'll love the coffee mug. The rides are ridiculous. Back to the Future ride, Star Wars ride, Indiana Jones ride. Everything is a damn ride. Everything has to be interactive. Oh, I love that word, interactive. Do you folks who sit in front of your computers really and truly think you're being interactive? No, what you're being is encrypted, insisted, codified, concretized. You're being walled up inside your own little homes, watching your little computers all day and all night. Computer sex? Oh, really? Give me a break. What an orgasm you must get off that one. Talk to me about interactive. I don't want to hear that word anymore. Interactive. It's empty-headed. It's imbecile. It's not interactive. It's imbecile active.
As we promised last week, a feature all by himself, our fabulous commentator, Harlan Ellison. Harlan?
Pinky, tonight we're going to take over the world.
Oh, we shouldn't block the game. No blocking, please.
I despise computer games. I think they are one of the they are second only to golf as being the greatest time waste the human race has ever invented.
Why do you say that?
Well, because they don't teach you anything. All you do is you waste time. 2-3 hours you're sitting there like a moron. There's an entire generation of kids who are all goggle-eyed. They don't teach you anything except how to blow things up. So I've been putting it down. So now they come to me and they say, we want you to do a CD-ROM game. I said, eh. And then I quoted from Oscar Wilde and said, I can resist anything but temptation. And I figured as long as I'm putting it down, let me see if I can do a better one. So, using my little manual typewriter and a couple of game designers, I designed this game. I have no mouth and I must scream.
But do you know how to put it into a machine?
No, I can't turn a computer on, man. It's wonderful. It's the best part of all is reading the reviews. The reviews are going buggy. There's 40,000 units they've moved in 2 weeks.
Wow.
40,000 of these things. And Newsweek says it's a bold step forward. And CD-ROM Game Player and all these magazines, they say a brilliant, you know. And then they find out that I have a manual typewriter, and they say, how did this Luddite do this? And I said, because I'm smarter than you are, that's why.
So nothing's blowing up?
No. No, this is an ethical game. This is taken from my short story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Yeah.
And it's after the war, after the big war, where each of the three master powers have sunk their giant computers into the center of the earth. The computers have linked up, become sentient, and programmed the war to destroy the entire human race. And the machine has brought the last 5 people alive on earth down into the center of the earth to torment them eternally. And you lead the adventures of these 5 people as they try to, in some way, retain their dignity. And you can't really win the game, but you will learn much about ethics and courage and friendship. And it's a pretty disturbing game, people are telling me.
That's pretty good. People are telling you because you have no idea, because you don't know how to play it.
I can't play it.
Yeah. But we're supposed to be talking about the future here.
Okay, we're going to talk
because
about
it's the first few days of '96. Do a little Gene Dixon on me here. I'm not even sure what that means.
Okay, but I will tell you this. The company called Pixar, which is the animation company that did Toy Story, is going to become one of the most important stocks on the big board. It opened the other day. It was supposed to come out at 12 or 14. It came out at 22. By the end of the day, it was at 49. All the heavy hitters dumped. and now people are coming in on it over the counter.
Got money in there?
I couldn't get in. You couldn't.
No?
You couldn't get a share. They give it to people. They call it guys who have size.
Give me another one.
Another one. The Marvel Comics will probably not be around as we know it in 3 years. Marvel has already leased 4 of its major characters to Image Comics. They've never leased them for production. I mean, they've done crossovers, but they are now actually leasing their characters to Image to do the production. That's because Ron Perlman, the great green male raider of Wall Street who got into Marvel a number of years ago, and I told everybody, I said, this is not a good thing. Trust me, I'm telling you, this is not a good. This guy will wreck everything. He has just eaten the comic book market. He bought Heroes World, the distributor. Everybody ran for distributors, and they've broken it up so much that retail stores are closing left and right. Middle Earth in New Jersey, which is one of the big ones, just closed down. It's going to get worse. In 5 or 6 years, the 2 biggest players at the moment, DC and Marvel, will probably not be around as we know them today. Wow. What we're going to discover in the next couple of years is that somebody's going to suddenly wake up as from a miasma and say, wait a minute, Brad Pitt can't act.
You see 12 Monkeys yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, I rest my case.
Tragic. Poor thing is.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I am the High Priestess of the Temple of the Triangle. Welcome, and learn what I have to teach.
The CD-ROM industry has grown enormously in the past few years, and several industrious young companies are clawing for a piece of the computer action.
Does he get to converse with different characters in Dark World as well?
Oh yeah, there.
Cyber Dreams, located in Southern California, was founded in 1990 when CD-ROMs were still a convoluted concept to the majority of the population. The company made a name for itself in 1993 with Dark Seed, an award-winning title that utilized the eerie artwork of Swiss designer H.R. Giger. Andrew Balzer, Director of Sales and Marketing, says that by blending creative talent with cutting-edge technology, the company has found its niche in a competitive marketplace.
What we've done is we've teamed up with world-famous artists, writers, and designers, and we've brought their expertise into the computer world in creating games for CD-ROM, for Macintosh, IBM, and set-top station.
Don't bother me, human. Can't you see I'm floating?
A sequel to Dark Seed is due out in November. As in the first game, Dark Seed 2 follows a writer named Mike Dawson into a weird parallel universe called Dark World. And fear not, Director of Development David Mullock assures us Giger's macabre monsters are creepier and more colorful than ever.
We're after a much higher graphics resolution this time around, with the capabilities of computers being much higher than they were several years ago. In the original game, we had 16-color graphics. This time around, we have 256 colors.
You named me Allied Master Computer and gave me the ability to wage a global war too complex for human brains to oversee.
Harlan Ellison has chosen to collaborate with Cyber Dreams on his first and only venture into the computer game scene. Based on his popular short story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, the game has been stirring up controversy for months, even though it won't be out until mid-November.
It's not like an arcade game where people just bang, bang, bang. It is a game that is supposed to make you think. It's supposed to disturb you and upset you and unsettle you, and I don't know of any other games that are like that.
The storyline for the game picks up where the short story leaves off. 5 protagonists have been tortured by a crazed computer for 109 years, and now each is being sent on a horrid adventure. One of the story tracks involves a Holocaust scenario, and therein lies the controversy.
At one of the computer shows where a preliminary version of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream was being showed, somebody showed up and got very upset about this track and said it was very disturbing, very upsetting, and it trivialized the Holocaust. Well, let me tell you something. I'm a Jew. The only way you could trivialize the Holocaust is if you forget it.
Where have you been, Nimdok? We are waiting on you to perform. You were waiting for me?
We're trying to go beyond something that merely passes the time. We're trying to create something that by playing with, it was worth your time. And trying to explore ways to create something that's truly interactive literature. Otherwise, what's the point of hooking up with creative geniuses like Harlan Ellison and H.R. Giger?
Well, Cyber Dreams must be doing something right. Wes Craven, the twisted mind behind Nightmare on Elm Street, just signed on to create a game based on an original idea of his. Freddy Krueger in a CD-ROM game? Who knows? This company is full of surprises.